Throughout the story and the different adventures of the Straw Hat crew, there is a symbol that appears in seemingly unrelated places over and over again. It's a big sphere with 8 satellites around it. The symbol appears on Skypiea, in the crest of the Shandians, in the flag of Alabasta, and even in Wano, where it's part of the Kozuki crest. Now, what sort of meaning could this symbol possibly have to connect these 3 honestly quite different places? Could it actually be that without us realizing it, Oda has actually already subtly revealed the symbol of the ancient kingdom? The people probably most literate in the history of the world, next to maybe the Gorosei and Imu, were the scholars on the island of Ohara. Inside their library, we can see an enormous globe that you're probably familiar with that seems to show the One Piece world surrounded by multiple spheres. Now, similarly to our scientific history, it's of course entirely possible that the scholars of Ohara simply believe the Earth to be the center of the solar system, and these objects are the planets circling the Earth. However, I personally think it's not at all far-fetched to assume that they were actually way more sophisticated than that. What this would mean is that these orbs would in fact have to be multiple moons circling the planet. Now, if that were to be the case, how is it that we only ever get to see one single moon in the sky at night throughout the entire story? The one moon that we know from Enel's cover story that he himself calls Verth. Now, we know for a fact that this moon did indeed harbor life at some point in the past, and that the Burkas, the winged people of Skypiea, originally came from there as they fled to Earth for a lack of resources. So what about these other moons from the astronomical model on Ohara? Well, what if in the past, instead of 1, there were actually 8 moons, each with its own intelligent life form, culture, and technology? Due to some unknown event, these moons were abandoned and/or destroyed at some point in the past, and its different people fled to Earth to start a new life there. Where do I get the number 8 from, you ask? Well, we'll get to that in a second. Now, as it so happens, we actually do know a variety of humanoid races inhabiting the One Piece world that all have their own culture, history, and traditions. The Giants, the Fishmen, the Tontada, the Long-Limbed tribes, the Minks, the Sky People, humans, as well as a number of other potential races, such as the Three-Eyed tribe and possibly even a demon or devil race. Each of these groups could have originally inhabited their very own world on each of the moons. And this concept is actually nothing new. If you watched my video on Shanks, you will know that Oda draws a lot of inspiration from Nordic mythology. And one of the most important elements in Nordic mythology is Yggdrasil, the world tree that harbors a total of 9 connected worlds. The world in the center is called Midgard, the realm of men, and around it 8 worlds inhabited by other races. These races also include dwarves and giants, that as a matter of fact we already know to live in the One Piece world as well. And especially the giants, as well as their island Elbaf, have clearly been inspired by Nordic mythology. This also includes a gigantuous tree that is being hinted at in this scene here. Could this be a reference to Yggdrasil and the 9 worlds? I think it's quite likely, and notably, one of these worlds also is said to harbor a race of demons. Now, being forced to leave their own worlds behind, each of these races will have come down to Earth, the world of humans, and the last inhabitable place left. Here, the different people lived in constant conflict and war with each other, born from the never-ending power struggles and deep-rooted prejudice. One day, however, a charismatic and powerful leader enters the stage and starts gathering members of all the different races under his flag. This diverse and unprecedented group starts to grow in influence and popularity due to its shared wisdom, friendship, and equality. At some point, it grows so large and influential that it establishes a kingdom that grows into a place of peace and prosperity. And the leader of this kingdom is a man known by the name of Joy Boy. Joy Boy's ultimate goal is to unite all the different races and bring the endless warring and violence amongst them to a close, end segregation and racism, and create a united world of freedom and justice. So, arguably, what the story of One Piece will in the end be all about. We do know that Joy Boy was already starting to fulfill this plan, as he promised the fishmen to bring them up to the surface and give them equal rights to the humans. However, with the growing influence of the ancient kingdom and its ideals of equality and freedom, the kingdom of the humans started to feel threatened and planned to overthrow Joy Boy. 20 of them banded together to declare war on the ancient kingdom, but initially failed due to its immense shared wisdom, power, and technology. However, when the war threatened to be lost, they were unexpectedly offered help by the king of the Demon Clan, which was despised and feared by all the other races. He offered the kings to share the powers of his people with them in order to turn the tides against the ancient kingdom and make them the gods and new rulers of the entire world. All of this, however, under one condition, that he would become the one true king, ruling from the shadows. Blinded by the power of this offer, 19 of the 20 kings took the deal, and so the Demon King bestowed upon them the power of the devil fruits. One of them, however, the King of Alabasta, was wary of the devil and his power and secretly decided to inform Joy Boy about the coming threat. Upon hearing about the new fantastic powers of their enemies and their inevitable defeat, Joy Boy decided to do everything in his power to ensure that his vision would be made reality someday. The Kozuki clan, that were part of his kingdom, created the poneglyphs with instructions and information about the true history of the world. Meanwhile, using its advanced technology, the ancient kingdom created 3 powerful weapons to oppose the power of the devil fruits. The powers of Poseidon to command powerful sea monsters inherited by the fishmen, the power of Pluton, a mighty battleship capable of destroying entire islands, as well as Uranus, a weapon of unknown power that might have enabled space travel. And finally, some secret was hidden on an island that would later become known as Laugh Tale. Just as Joy Boy had feared, the tides of the war quickly changed with the sudden appearance of the devil fruit powers. With their help, the kings artificially changed the geography of the entire planet to ensure their rule and position of power for centuries to come. And so, the ancient kingdom fell, and the world had to wait for the return of a new Joy Boy that would finally fulfill his dream and unite the world.